You're watching Celtic Fans TV. Please don't forget to click subscribe below. What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's the post-match pint after Celtic 2, Rangers 1 at Celtic Park. We're here in Malone's Bar, as always, on Suckyhall Lane. If you're in there, get involved. I've got Callum and Kenny with me to go over it. Kenny, I thought at times it was stressful, as these games tend to be from time to time, but I thought we deserved it, and I thought over the 90 minutes we deserved the huge victory we got.
I mean, we were a bit unsure getting into the game, thinking, well, on form, it's a bit of a 50-50 game. It's a cliche to say these games don't go to form. I think they can go to form. But one thing that also goes along with form is people in your team that have been through the course, that know how to play this fixture. People that when they cross that white line and the whistle blows and millions of people around the world are watching them, they don't just able to handle it, they're able to up their game. And Callum McGregor is able to up his game and rise to the occasion. And he controlled what I believe was Celtic's victory today. More and more often than not, these games are revolving around Callum McGregor, whether it be good or bad. When we won at Ibrox, it's because they didn't mark him properly. He controlled the game. When we lost 3-0 at Ibrox, it's just because they did contain him. They tried to contain him today, but they just couldn't. He was able to break. When they attempted to break the lines, he read everything. When the ball broke and we had an opportunity to get it forward at speed, he was the man doing it. He was like a man possessed for about an hour or so of that game, and I think that tipped the balance for us today. But he didn't do that alone. There were two things that I think helped him. It wasn't our wingers. Maeda was poor. Palma, I thought, was poor. But what helped him was the men behind him. Scales was like a bit of a colossus today. Now, we've debated is Scales' performance this season a success because it's just within the realms of being Scales. It's better than we would expect, and that's a fair argument, but it's not a fair argument today. He was really solid today, under pressure, real pressure, playing like a real man. Narocki coming in beside him, someone who's not played for 4 or 5 months, to get slung into that environment. It's a tough ask. Solid. And someone else that helped him was his marksman up front, Kyogo. Now, he's had a really underwhelming few weeks, Kyogo. We were at Dens Park during the week when he squandered that chance when he's right through and goal. The two of us were hanging our head. To be fair to you, Paul, you said form's temporary. That's what you said to me when he squandered that chance, and you're absolutely right. When it matters today, when it really matters, bang, he puts us back in the title, back 2 points clear in the title. People who are heralded strikers, they don't always score in these games. Morelos, Chris Boyd, they couldn't score in these games. He might be quiet, he might be a subtle player, but he comes alive when it matters. And to sink one into the top bin and really win the game off that strike is just a mark of the man. So a big result for Celtic today. It gets us back on track, it calms people's anxieties that we were going in the wrong direction, but we've got to build on it. It's just one win. We've got to beat St Mirren, we've got to send Rangers stewing into this 3-week period, we've got to sign big in January, and we've got to get into a groove. But a huge result for Celtic.
Aye, massive, Callum. I thought the start to the game was going to be so important for us, given the form and the sort of uncertainty about what you're going to get for this Celtic team that we've seen so far this season. And I thought we did start the game really well. I thought we controlled it and dictated it in the first 20-25 minutes. And we go ahead through Bernardo. And it's a great strike because he takes it really early. It comes to him, smashes it in the half volley. Butland's got no chance. And to be fair to him, there's so many Rangers bodies in the way because it's from a corner kick. There's so many bodies in the way, but he manages to find the far corner, and it's absolute pandemonium. He's right into the Green Brigade, and the scenes are incredible.
Look, we spoke about it, and look, I thought I gave quite a good analysis on in Dundee with how that game was going to pan out, and it was going to pan out on both teams having deadly options up front. Rangers don't have deadly options up front. They don't, and that's not me trying to get one up on Rangers. It's just the reality. Am I wrong in saying that's Kyogo's fifth goal in 4 games against Rangers in 2023? That's what he's got. He scored Ibrox in the 2-2 game, 3-2 game. He got 2 in the cup final. So actually that's 7, is it not then? Because then he got 2 in the 3-2 game, and he also scored at Ibrox in September, and now he scored today as well. So look, you need somebody in this type of game, it doesn't really matter what form you've got, because Rangers were the team riding into this game that had all the momentum and all the form. And let's be honest, last night most Celtic fans felt that this was going to be a really tough day. I don't really think it panned out like that. I think in the last maybe 10 minutes it probably did, but that's because a team's thrown everything at the wind, because they've got nothing else to lose. If they lose a third, all they say is, oh well, we're down to 10 men, so they're chucking everything at Celtic, and Celtic were caught. And Rodgers talks about that in his press conference, that they were in a catch-22. They didn't keep the ball well enough in that last 10 minutes, but look, they worked hard enough and they got the 2 goals. And when you said about in your Team 11, picking your players, you said, look, the first goal's integral in this type of game, and almost, I think it's only 4 games or 5 games in the history is that the team that scored first has actually went on to lose. It rarely ever happens. So as soon as we got that goal today, it was brilliant. And look, a set piece, and look, I don't count skill set piece at Livingston because I wasn't there, unfortunately. I was working, so I don't count that because I've never seen it with my own eyes.
That was
but
a
this
proper
time,
goal for a corner,
I was blessed, by the way, blessed to see a goal like that. Palmer whips the ball in. And actually, when he takes him from the right, it's almost like he's pinging it a little bit, like he like floats it, lifts it in. Whereas if he hits it from like an outswinger, it's almost like curled in. So that was quite interesting to see. But he puts a really good ball in. Sima, I have no clue what he's doing. I don't know if he was looking for his plane ticket to the AFCON or not. I'm not sure. But he just passes it straight to Bernardo. But see, most players bottle that. Most players just slice it and you go, oh, come on, what a chance.
Or even overthink it and take a touch.
Oh, of course. And all of a sudden somebody's out at you. It actually happened in the game, but he doesn't even take a touch. He hits the ball probably too clean. And it just, I know that sounds stupid, but too clean, where he just absolutely pile drives it by Butland. Butland's a good keeper. Right? I'm not going to say he's not. He is a good goalkeeper, but he has no chance. And Rangers have no chance. The place just goes absolutely wild. And that's what Celtic deserved. I didn't think Rangers were great, especially in the final third. I thought they were lazy on the ball. I thought McGregor, as Kenny touched on, McGregor was phenomenal today. Incredible. He really did. And look, Rangers tried the hardest with Cantwell and Sterling almost to double up. But as soon as McGregor was allowed to play and bypass that, all of a sudden Celtic, well then it was like a 5v4 at the back of Rangers. And we had chances. Kyogo had a chance in the first half where he takes it a little bit too long, a bit too wide, and he hits it, goes for the corner.
Near post,
that he gets. He might be want to hit it earlier on, but good strikers don't let that sit in their head. Look, Dessers had a few chances and he misses. That's the reality, is that Celtic have a top class striker for this league anyway, and he's proved it in Europe. He's scored goals against the Lazios and Madrid, so he's proven it at all levels. He's a very good striker for us. I know today was all about the victory and the 3 points. Look, it's 8 points clear. It's 8 clear. Rangers still need to go and play the 2 games. And what we've learnt is that Clement has came in and he's done a good job. He's won most of these games apart from Aberdeen. So did Beale. So did Gio. And how did that go? And as Rodgers said, the best thing about Rodgers is that's 5 managers Rodgers has faced. And at every point, he's always had the Rangers coming for him. Where are they?
Aye. Kenny, I think today, in the build-up to the game, I actually heard Callum McGregor saying in his pre-match that they looked at Rangers and there wasn't really a great amount of change in the style. They've been getting better results. They've had the bounce for the new manager. Some good victories, obviously win the League Cup, but the style isn't really that different. And I think you saw that today because they were going direct all the time. It's always long diagonal balls, either for Goldson or Tavernier up towards Dessers and Sima. And it didn't really work for them today. Okay, they had a bit of pressure in the last 10 minutes when they get the goal back, but it really didn't work for them today. In an area of the pitch that you always have to dominate in these games is midfield. Both of you have mentioned McGregor so far, who was absolutely imperious, but I think Bernardo, who obviously gets the goal, but O'Reilly alongside him as well, the 3 of them really took control. And before the game, we thought Lundstram was going to miss out. He started, and the big question mark about this Celtic midfield is physicality. But I thought today we ran Rangers ragged in midfield, and I thought all 3 of the midfielders stood up, played really, really well.
The reality is quality footballers ultimately will outmuscle physical players when the chips are down. Lundstram and Sterling, physical players, win their tackles, but they squander when they're trying to put the ball wide, when they're trying to play artistic football into the front. It doesn't work. Matt O'Reilly, the complete opposite. He's got enough about him to win the ball. When he's got Callum McGregor beside him dictating everything, he doesn't need to win every ball, but when he receives it and there's a killer pass on, it will happen. He's banged that ball into Kyogo for the first goal, and he's earned his stripes again. Bernardo, the big thing about today was Bernardo, wasn't it? We're all sitting there pre-match thinking, will he even start? Should we throw Hatate in? Is Bernardo good enough? Should Turnbull come in? That was a question mark. But I think he answered quite a lot of questions today, Bernardo, because he's physical enough to put himself about and make a difference. just described Lundstrom's and Sterling's physicality. He gives you a little bit of that, but he also gives you more quality in the ball. Now, the question mark going forward is has he done enough to keep Rio Hatate out the side? He's not a Rio Hatate, clearly, but probably against St Mirren on Tuesday night, he probably still deserves the nod. And if we can use him, whether we buy him or not, he's on a loan. It's an interesting question in the second half of the season, but he's starting to emerge as someone that we can finally sort of rely on as being someone that can maybe sit in behind Hatate. And today was a real coming of age game for him. I think Bernardo deserves pass marks as well as early today.
I absolutely thought they were all really good, Callum. Towards the end of that first half, Rangers did have a spell. Last 10-15 minutes, they came a lot more into it. McCausland produces a brilliant save for Joe Hart, to be fair. He needs to get right down onto the ground, push it away with his right hand. A really good save at an important time of the game. And I felt like we needed half-time because we went through a wee spell, and Nawrocki, who just came on, gave it away. Alistair Johnston gave it away numerous times all afternoon, actually, when we talk about his performance later. He plays Dessers in, actually, and then just manages to catch him up because Dessers is ponderous and he takes too long on it. But we were just getting wasteful and giving away slack passes. And I felt like half-time came at a good time for us.
So McCausland takes the shot, Joe Hart spills it, Greg Taylor clears it. And we get into half-time, and I feel like we were in a good place. I felt that we deserved the 1-0 lead. But Welsh, a massive shout out to Welsh because he was outstanding, honestly, for a guy that barely plays. People keep saying to him, like, he's not good enough, like, he's just there because he's Scottish. He proved today, up against a Rangers team that were in momentum. Most Rangers fans thought today Celtic were there for the taking, and having Welsh and Scales, and we've had our opinion on Scales, and I've kind of swayed on both sides of is he good enough, or is he good enough to be a squad player, or is he good enough to be a number one centre back. I'm still a little bit unsure because at times he can kind of change my opinion, but what I would say is that today him and Welsh were fantastic. And now it comes to question, is the first question at press conference should have been, where's Nawrocki been? Because I thought he was outstanding. Did you see the bit in the second half where he was actually on the floor and he still won the tackle as the Rangers players running away? He just almost like kicks it away from him. His slide tackles are very, very good. Had a good few of them. Dessers was in front of him down at the left back side, the Greg Taylor side, and he just takes the ball from behind him and puts it out for a throw-in, but he actually gets back up and he gets tripped. I thought he was brilliant for somebody that's not played since that Kilmarnock game in, I don't know, late August or early September it was.
Late August.
For somebody that's not played for that amount of time. Something's obviously happened there, but hopefully now that's in the past and he can move on, because I think he's a great centre-back.
When he first came in, it's not like he's just come in today and it's a bit of a shock. When he first came in, I thought he looks a bit of an improvement in Starfield, just based on his body shape, the way he plays the ball, how dominant he is. There's this weird thing going on where these multi-million-pound players aren't even getting in the squads, which I don't understand. But hopefully today puts the end to that, if we can bring him back in.
And we obviously paid £5 or £4.5 million, £5 million pound, whatever it was, for him, right? So it's a lot of money. I think it's Leah Warsaw's highest ever transfer profit or sale for a player. So he's obviously got talent. We've seen that with Juranovic for Leah Warsaw. They do produce good players, and I believe Nawrocki's another really good player. Hopefully that he can maybe start, obviously, because I think Welsh maybe popped his shoulder. It was. So he's obviously going to be out for maybe another, 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, somewhere about that. Second half, we came out, and again, in my head, I'm thinking Celtic usually starts slow in the first half. I can't remember the last time we scored in the first half, so that was a massive relief. But second half, that's when we came out really swinging. Obviously, Dundee, Livingston, it's quite evident. And I couldn't believe how quick that actually happened. Now, I don't know the build-up play before it. I need to watch it again. But somehow O'Reilly gets the ball out in Rangers' left-back area where Red Van Yilmaz is. But the glaring mistake for Rangers' point of view is Balogun so far out. He's chasing O'Reilly. Now, if that's a Celtic centre-back, I'm thinking, what are you doing? Why is my centre-back on their centre-mid? Why are you leaving that huge gap in behind you? It then forces Tavernier to come inside with Goldstein to double up on Kyogo. But Kyogo's goal is a joke, and look, I mean, I don't think he would ever be watching this, but if he ever did, Chris Boyd, I mean, mate, you're going to be absolutely raging.
Martin's already given him it.
Oh, has he? Right, well, I'll give him it, I know then, right, so you'll get hurt with two. I mean, thank you so much for making Kyogo on fire today, because that little speech he gave at Easter Road just made me sit on my night, and I had a chuckle to myself. Oh, he can't score goals like Shankland. Give it a rest. He might not be able to eat like a breakfast like Shankland, like beans on toast, but absolutely get out of here if you think he can't score goals like that. Mate, he shifts on his left. Goldson and Tav are like two clowns for the circus. They don't step in, they don't take the ball, they don't block it. Kyogo says, here, Jack, pick out of the net, left foot, puts it top corner, and the place absolutely erupts. And for that point there, Celtic get the 3 points, 8 points clear, and Clermont was raging.
Kenny, it's one of the all-time great goals in this fixture. I think that's a goal we'll look back at for years and years. Kyogo's already got a few in this fixture, but that is hands down the best goal he scored against Rangers. The technique on his weaker foot, as Callum says, a step over just to buy himself half a yard, but it's curling away for Jack Butland into the top corner. We've touched on it briefly already, but it is a strike worthy to win in any football match.
I mean, he only touches the ball a few times a game, Kyogo, and that's why after 3 or 4 games, if he only touches a few times, he doesn't score. People think, well, he's a waste of time, but you can't, that's a naive way of thinking. You're only as good as your striker, and he's absolutely deadly when it really matters. How many goals has he scored against? What did you say?
So I think it's. I actually think it's 7 because I forgot the goals in the final.
It's difficult to score in these games because the pressure's enormous. It's raining down on you. The standard's higher, but the mentality's the biggest thing, and he's scoring all the time, and that's why he's invaluable to the club. Now, can we? I mean, what age is Kyogo? 28?
29.
Hopefully this will spur him on. He went through a bit of a lull under Postecoglou. He scored against Motherwell, a tap-in type goal, and it physically sort of relieved him of his lack of confidence, and he went on to have a goal splurge that won us a treble. Hopefully today, it seemed like when he scored against Livingston, he felt a bit of relief, although he squandered a big chance against Dundee. Today's going to give him huge confidence, right? He's going to buy a lot of goodwill with the fans. Everybody's going to be right behind him. He's the guy that can spearhead us to the title. There's no doubt about it. You just cannot. We can try and find, if he goes to the Asia Cup, it's going to be difficult. O can't do what he can do. We can't sign somebody within our budget, realistically, what he can do, and hit the ground running in January. We're going to need to try and do that. But he is the man that when he comes back after the Asia Cup, that we've just got to keep persisting with, keep trying to find him. Part of the problem is how we're not finding him. If we keep finding Kyogo, we will win this title. It's that simple. And today was just another part of his legacy for Celtic, because it really is part of a big, strong legacy particularly against Rangers.
Aye, absolutely. He is the man, Callum. The one thing we didn't touch on in the first half was the controversial moment where Rangers have a penalty shout. Alistair Johnson handballs it. That's right in front of us. And at the time we thought that did look like a handball. And it was a long VAR delay. And to be honest, we were surprised it didn't get given as a penalty, but only after you see that Seema's actually offside in the build-up. I know the Rangers manager seems to be confused as to why it wasn't a penalty, but I think if somebody's offside in the build-up, then he's offside, therefore can't be a penalty. So it's just as well they didn't give a penalty and then realise afterwards that he was offside, because the right decision is it shouldn't have been a penalty. There was an offside in the build-up. End of.
Look, I was listening to Clyde One and Gordon Duncan, the host, was saying that I can't put it any other way, but regardless if the penalty was given, it would still be taken back to the player that created the penalty. How did the penalty decision, how did it happen? It comes in for a cross. I don't know who the cross is, maybe Tavernier, into Seema, it bounces, it then does hit Alistair Johnson's hand. It does, but he's already offside. So
I think it may actually be Lundstrom.
So that actually takes it away, regardless of what you think, if it's a penalty or not, right? Maybe it is a penalty, but it's offside. You can't make it any more black and white than that. It's offside. It wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have stood. So I don't know if any Rangers fans are watching this. Hopefully you are. But I literally, it's offside, so there's nothing that they can do about that. But look, I actually thought in the first half, I was surprised to see Maeda come out in the second half. I thought he had a woeful game. I thought he made Ridvan Yilmaz look very good, because Ridvan Yilmaz was nutmegging him.
Do you know the only thing I think Yilmaz has got is a bit of pace?
He's got really good pace. He's not got physicality. He's not got power. I felt Celtic should have targeted him, put the ball into his channel, maybe get Kyogo drift out wide, maybe switch with Maeda through the middle, because Goldson and Balogun don't really like looking back the way. They more want to play. Again, but look, Clement, I seen his press as well on the BBC, and the interviewer asks him, do you think the best team won today? And he says, well, what do you think? He says, well, I want to know off the Rangers manager what you think. You're the one that's in the job. I want to know what you know. And he's really angry. He thinks that his team was the best team today and they should have won. That's what he said. At least a draw, but they could have won the game, right? So they had less shots on target, they had less corners, less possession, a less man on the park. I don't know where he's getting this from. He's obviously just trying to keep the good factor and obviously get extra points, obviously, on his card, on his staunch points, right? He's obviously he's getting more of it. But the reality is, mate, is that when it really, really mattered, Celtic capitalised in the big moments. Now Dessers has a chance again in the second half where he's running one-on-one with Rocky as well, and he kind of goes, he drops his shoulder and he wants to cut back in. Rocky just takes the ball off him. So they did have wee chances, but Kenny touches about that is the biggest difference is they don't have a Kyogo. They don't, and unfortunately that is. They've obviously gambled and spent $6 million on Danilo, and it's not worked out because he's been injured twice now on 2 serious injuries. And then you've obviously got as well, they've brought in Fabio Silva for Wolves now, who they're paying, covering these wages of like 80 grand or whatever it is. So it's a lot of money outlay for 5 months, and they better hope that it works. And from their point of view, the Celtic will keep doing what they're doing. I think rather than going and spending.
This doesn't let the board off the hook, by the way.
No, of course it doesn't. But if that 5 or 6 players that we're thinking of, I don't think Celtic need 5 or 6 players. If you put Hatate back in there, you put Carter Vickers with Naroki or Scales or whoever you fancy. I think Celtic probably need another left back to push Greg Taylor. I think they need another striker, especially with Owen, probably maybe Kyogo or Maeda going away for the Asian Cup. So I think they need probably that, and they probably need, I would say, one more different dynamic midfielder, of somebody with a bit of Wanyama-esque about him, somebody that's going to take a no-nonsense, really not very good up front. He doesn't control it up there. As soon as teams break, he's there. Look, that's very difficult, but I think Celtic probably only need those 3 type of players.
I'm a bit worried about our wingers as well. I mean, Maeda's performance has been diabolical in the last 3 or 4 outings. His numbers are good, but his lack of pace is a bit glaring at times. He looks like a bit of a one-trick pony. I'd be looking. I think we need good Celtic teams are built on wingers, but I think we need another winger.
I'll agree with you, Kenny, right? But again, the board look at it from that point of view of going, well, who's our closest challengers? Rangers, what do they have in the wings? What are they producing? Nobody's got anywhere near the stats as Palma's got for their wingers, as in McCausland or Sima. Sima's got a few good goals. He's obviously going away for maybe 5 or 6 games to the AFCON as well. I don't really feel Celtic feel threatened. I think if Celtic can play at their best and get their best players on the park, Celtic will probably win most games out of 38 and they'll win the title. That's the way the board will see it. Look, they take risks at times when they buy people like Yang and they buy Quans and all these projects and Telios that aren't contributing. Today we've seen the Rocky contribute. Today we've seen also Kyogo, he's contributed. I just think that Celtic were the better team. They deserved the 3 points. I don't think that's me being green glasses on or tinted. I genuinely feel that we were the better side in that match. I think we took our chances. We tested Jack Butland more than Joe Hart get tested. And look, Rangers get their goal through Tavernier. Through it's a good free kick, and we need to be careful of that because that's happened a few times now where we're given opportunities really lazily just to give free kicks away. And look, I don't know if I'll need to look at it back, but I don't know if Joe Hart gives them. I felt at the time he gave him too much of the goal. He kind of does that, and it's through Joe Hart's career he's kind of been like that. Look, he's been a great servant for Celtic, especially with the Barkas debacle and Conor Hazard and people like that. So probably at the end of the season, his time was up at Celtic. And that's not me having a go at him. He's just, I think Celtic need a little bit in an improvement there.
No doubt.
But look, again, it's not about the performance. It doesn't matter about the performance. It matters about the 3 points. And everybody was saying, but Rangers can go 4 points clear. At Celtic, if they win their 2 games in hand, and that's been a 12-point swing in the space of, 3-4 weeks. Celtic showed real composure, real attitude to grab the game when everybody almost ripped Celtic off. Even Celtic fans included were a bit wobbly going into this game. We showed a real backbone and we showed why most often or not in May we're the ones holding the title.
I think the team deserve credit. I think in the big games, Kenny, this season we've actually done okay. The performances in the big games have been better. It's these Kilmarnocks and St Johnstones and the cheap points, like obviously getting beat against Hearts at home. It's those games we really need to fix, and that's why Tuesday's so important, because we need to follow this up with 3 points. I think the weak points today for us, obviously Callum's touched on the goal. I just think Joe Hart, it's a good free kick for Tavernier. I just think Joe Hart's feet movement isn't quite quick enough to get him across to it, and we've seen that a couple of occasions of free kicks. I think we got slack in the ball at times. Alistair Johnson, a really poor performance. I think if he is feeling anything with that ankle that he had surgery on or whatever it might be, I think we should take him out of the team for a wee spell. I know we've got a break coming up, but he is in really bad form, Alistair Johnson. But it was never going to be plain sailing. I think when Rangers get the man sent off, obviously Balogun brings down Maeda. I think if he had a brain and realised it was Maeda, he should just have let him run through, because there was no chance Maeda was going to finish that in the afternoon that he had. But they go down to 10 men, and you think that we can really go on and maybe add 1 or 2 more. But I think the way that this month's went, the way the season's gone so far, it was never going to be plain sailing 3 or 4-0. It almost wasn't surprising that we ended up nervy at the end.
I think it's because we do still lack invention. If we had real quality wingers, I don't want to keep talking about Jota, right, for the rest of this channel, right, because it's easy to just harp back to people that have left. But if he's playing in that game, when you're against a 10-man Rangers, you've got a lot of space, he's going to hurt them, you're going to get another goal. I do think we need to recruit out wide. It just doesn't feel like we're getting that level of composure, that level of inventiveness. Joe Hart on that Rangers goal, I'm not sure. I think if you hit a flat ball wall side and it goes in, you just need to hold your hands up and say it's a good strike. We know he can do that. We need to see it back. Wall-side goals at that pace aren't usually a goalkeeper's problem. Yeah, I think that's probably the one single position we do need to replace. Look, we need to build on this today.
We do.
It's easy to sit back and think, well, all of a sudden we're back.
Carried away in the euphoria.
Yeah, we're top of the league by whatever it is, 8 points. It's an artificial 8 points because of the games played.
Yeah.
We must invest, and we must invest wisely. And we cannot invest. We seem to be linked again with people for the K-League. I just don't think people for the K-League are going to get us over the line this season. My instincts are that's not going to work. I get that bit of recruitment's fine in the background because it served us well. But it doesn't serve you well at the business end of a league season when there's a couple of points in it and you need to throw people in. A Wanyama would be wonderful. They're very difficult to find, but that's exactly what we need. If we could find a wick to Wanyama, my God, and throw him in to really tough games at the hard end of the season and give McGregor that freedom to play with even more offensive flair, that's what will win us the league. We've just got to be on our recruitment. We've got to be bold with our recruitment. We've got to spend more money, speculate to accumulate something that's evaded Celtic for a long time. What does the Champions League get us next season?
50, 60 million.
60 million, because it's up to 8 games.
8 games.
You play.
So why would you spend 2 million in a left back instead of 5 when you've got £60 million hanging in the balance? You don't. They need to improve their recruitment, they need to be agile, and they need to improve their strategy. They may well do that. They may have been given a shock by how poor the summer's recruitment was. They may feel Rangers being close to them because 2 points is nothing. Yeah. Rangers are paying this guy £80,000 a week. Well, that's their prerogative, but that's not something that's passive, is it? That's something that's pretty aggressive. So we've got to react to that. But today's a huge linchpin in terms of taking this forward. It restores Rodgers' faith from the stands. It restores the internal belief of the dressing room. And it's something that should propel us if we use it in the right way.
Aye. Callum, just on Tavernier, scores a free kick, silences the crowd. At full time, I don't think he silenced the crowd walking up the tunnel. Never seen that.
That was pathetic when he tried to silence the crowd.
No, he actually went over to the away end to say, oh no, there wasn't an away end. No. So there wasn't, because the board destroyed that. So cheers for that. Because actually that would have been a really dangerous part. See, there was 7,500 there, especially if Rangers were 2-1. Right. That would have really pushed Rangers on. Maybe even got a second goal, maybe possibly, because the crowd gives you that, like, come on! They cheer them on because they could sense, the home crowd were sensing, like Celtic, calm down a wee bit, just take your time here. Joe Hart was still going mental with the ball, he's still throwing it out as quick as possible, and it's like, mate, take your time. And about the 95th minute he actually does, he just goes, you know what, go long, I'll kick it down to O, go long. There's no other way to say it, Tavernier is a serial loser. I don't know if you've seen the Record Sport and they put McGregor and Tavernier, the absolute cheek to put the two of them on a bit of paper together is mystifying to me. He's won 3 trophies in Scotland, and Callum McGregor, I think's won, 24, 25. It's a joke, an absolute joke that you're comparing these players. And look, real captains step up. We've got one of the greatest captain ever in Billy McNeil's statue, and it tells you how many appearances he's got and how much stuff that he's won at Celtic and that. And I thought Callum McGregor really stood out today more than anybody. I thought he put his shoulders up there. And look, Callum McGregor's not been great recently. He's been a bit off it, but he really stood up today. I know Tavernier gets the goal, but there's more to the game than just goals. You've got to beat your man 50-50. You've got to make sure that he feels. And I thought McGregor get the better of Lundstrom. Like we've not even spoke about. Wee Goldilocks going off. Mate. Oh, it was tremendous. Even might have been better than Bernardo's goal, because I was waiting for him to get his TikTok out and record it, getting laughed at. Guy's a clown. Get out of here. Back to Norwich. On you go. Easy football. You get embarrassed. Hard man for Liverpool, Mr. John Lundstrom, gets sent home as well. As soon as he's off, he couldn't run quick enough, by the way. He get out of there.
Quickest he'd moved all day.
Oh, mate, he's like, get me out of here. And then I seen Clement having a bit of an argument with TikTok Todd as well. And they were kind of arguing with each other. I thought, brilliant. Absolute prime what I came here for. Just to see you two crumble in the emotion of Celtic Park. And they call it paradise. My God, it was paradise in my eyes, by the way. Seeing him cry like that, it's like, get out of here. So look, Celtic showed today and McGregor showed today who the real team is. Clements came in, He's done well. I don't know how many games it is, 14, 15, 16 games. But you're really in your stripes when you go to somebody's stadium and you win. We've done it at Ibrox, we've done it at Celtic Park. We're the dominant team here. Rodgers' 15th game against Rangers, won 11, drawn 3, lost 1. That's it. He's just as good as Kyogo up top because Rodgers is experienced in this. Clement's got no clue, and I thought Clement looked a little bit shaky when he got booked. He got booked straight away and he was still going at the fourth official. Honestly, like, what a day for Celtic, because we've not been great this season, but mate, it's been tough. It has been tough.
We've not been great this season.
Aye, it has been tough, but still to come through it. I think Clement came in and there was an 8-point gap. I think New Year and there's still an 8-point gap. So look, I know they've got 2 games in hand, but there's no to say that they're going to win. Let's see how they react to a loss. Let's see how he plays his cards. Look, I do think they're a better team under Clement than they are under Bill. I'm not laughing at everything, but damn right I'm laughing today at them. Damn right, back up the road. All the fans were there this morning cheering their team off. All the fans were there at the end of the game to boo them coming back, mate. Boo the serial losers at Goldson, Tavernier. Get them out, mate. That's what they'll be shouting. Celtic, 3 points, mate. What more could I ask for a new year?
Not a lot more, mate. Not a lot more. Kenny, it's easy to get carried away in euphoria, as I just said, after a win like this. But it's about building on it. We have handed away the lead we had, and it's due to poor performances. I don't want to end on a downer. I'm going to turn this into a positive, but this doesn't let the board off the hook, as you just said. They need to go and get the right players. We need to hammer home this advantage. It's only 2 points if they win their games in hand. And hopefully this is the thing that can kick us on and actually put us in a consistent run now. It's the first time we've won 3 games all season in all competitions. We've got to put a run of wins together. That's the thing that wins you titles. We've watched it season in and season out over the last decade. The thing that wins you titles is going in long winning runs, and hopefully that's what we can do now.
I don't think Brendan Rodgers loses his high calibre overnight. I still believe Callum,
don't bring it up now.
Probably doesn't, right? That we're in the hands of a pretty safe operator in terms of trying to get this league over the line for Celtic. It's been difficult, right? It's been probably surprisingly difficult to date, and there are a number of reasons for that, of which he is partly culpable. But some of it has been the signings that have come in. Some of it's probably just been the sort of unusualness of someone returning who's been there before, and some of it's been his ineptitude. But we've survived all of that and we're still top of the league. If we can't learn from that and go on now and push with the right level of recruitment, with Rodgers having a wake-up call, and he has had a wake-up call. He looked pretty uncomfortable when he was getting interviewed when Hearts beat us 2-0. As uncomfortable as I've ever seen him in his entire career. If he can't treat that as a wake-up call and get us into a position where we're going to win this league in a comfortable fashion, we don't want to be getting into the last couple of games of the season with a 2-point lead, floundering around trying to get something over the line. Then I do believe we get into a rhythm, but a lot of it's going to come down to Rodgers coming to the fore. I believe that can happen. A lot of it's going to come down to the recruitment. There's a question mark over that because I'm not sure about the people that are after the recruitment, and I think we need to get Brendan Rodgers involved deeper into the recruitment at an earlier stage and not just giving some blessing from someone he's never seen before. But if we get that right, I do think I see us as favourites for the title in a pretty comfortable way. But we need to build on today. We can't be complacent.
We do. We absolutely do.
Can I just quickly say, Paul, very, very quickly, sorry, is that obviously with me being away, this is the last one that I'll do for a wee while. And what a better place to leave. Me, my brother, my dad, were kind of there at the end, and it was like, well, that's my last game. And I was absolutely euphoria because we had won. I did not want to leave Celtic Park with a draw or a loss. I couldn't. Last night kept me up all night, 5, 6 in the morning before I got to my bed, seriously. Just overthinking the game in my head, how we're going to win this game, and the euphoria that hit me when we had won that. And look, I'll obviously be watching the channel while I'm away, and I'll be keeping up with it. But I just want to say a massive thank you to yourself for obviously letting me on. And when I come back, I'll come back. You don't get a loan, just get a loan for me. Don't get a permanent replacement, right? A loan, don't worry. I will be back. But I want to say a big thank you to yourself, to Humza. Obviously, you've got him down the country, home and away, Europe. Obviously, all the boys, Darren, Kenny, Martin. Everybody, Chris, Stu, everybody that contributes, mate, a massive thank you for letting me be part of it to express how I feel about Celtic games, whether that's a defeat or whether that's a victory. It's been tough this season at times, especially European games. They've been tough, But I'm very, very thankful, and when I come back, hopefully we'll be starting a new season, but we'll be champions beforehand. We'll win a Scottish Cup. I'll be watching from afar, but keep up the good work, mate.
Forget
Thank
a
you very
Jota style
much.
loan in, Callum, you're gone, mate. If we get a Jota style loan, then you're gone.
Jota,
You're not.
well, I may need to go to Turkey and get a
No
transplant.
one's
if I need more.
indispensable, right? So you just keep an eye on
If I need more here, but I do want to just say a big thank you, and I'll be watching the channel for afar, mate.
Pleasure's all ours, mate. Pleasure's all ours. There you go. That's it for the post-match pint. Have a happy new year. We passed 40,000 subscribers last night, so thank you for all the support as always. We will see you on Tuesday for the game against St Mirren. Thank you.